right this moment, I am living in an answered dua that I thought may never ever happen. Things got so bad around this issue that I was making dua for. Times I thought to myself, maybe I should just resign myself to my fate. Maybe my test here is just to make sabr that this is going to be an issue for me for the rest of my life. But right now, in this moment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has answered the dua and given me the change that I was looking for. While I'm in this feeling of such gratitude, such an alhamdulillah vibration, I want to share exactly what it took to get to this point. There are some du'as that you will make that are about getting you out of a problem, and by getting you out of that problem, it is going to improve the quality of your life. And then there are du'as that, things are okay, things are good, alhamdulillah, but you desire an up level. And what I'm about to teach you is going to apply to both those instances. Whether you are looking just to upgrade an area of your life and you're thinking, you know what, maybe I should just be grateful. Maybe that next level is not necessary. Maybe it's ungrateful for me to ask for that next level. Or you have a problem and you're just thinking, when is this going to end? When is this going to change? I'm going to show you how to stay consistent and persistent in your dua so that you can see your duas manifest. First thing is, do not use dua as your last resort. And here I'm going to share something that really shifted my perspective. I once heard someone say, don't make dua like shaitan, rather make dua like Adam alayhi salam. Adam alayhi salam made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala immediately. As soon as he knew he had a problem, as soon as he knew he was in need of help, he immediately asked Allah for his favor. Even though Adam alayhi salam knew that he had committed a sin, Adam alayhi salam did not spiral into shame and say, oh, I made a mistake, now I'm not worthy, now Allah won't want to give me this thing. Regardless of the fact that he had committed a sin, he immediately repented and turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and asked Allah for exactly what he wanted. As shaitan stayed stubborn, he stayed arrogant. Shaitan waited until things got so bad that there was no other option, and that is when he asked Allah for dua, which Allah granted, but he waited for things to get really bad. So don't make your dua like shaitan. Do not use dua as your last resort. It needs to be your first and consistent method solving your issue. Which brings me to my second point. I don't know if I was worthy of this dua being answered, but it doesn't really matter. What I do know is that regardless of whether I'm worthy or not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is so merciful and so giving that he says that he feels shy to return the hands of a believer empty. Meaning that when you make dua to Allah, Allah feels shy to not give you anything in return. This is how merciful Allah is. So one of the things that I do is whenever I feel like my dua is taking very long to be answered and I'm still in this struggle, I constantly remind myself of how merciful and giving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. So when those negative thoughts and the waswasa of shaitan wants to come in and tell me there's no point, Allah won't give it to you, you're not good enough, I remind myself of how good Allah is. You've been asking Allah consistently and yet you haven't received the thing that you're asking for. You haven't received the solution to your problem. How do you know when it's time to give up and just surrender to your fate and just say, well, maybe this is not meant for me. I just need to accept it. And this is where you have to just stay strong, stay consistent, keep asking every single day. And if you are not reading the Tahajjud Salah at this point, this is where you need to start introducing it in and making dua specifically at the Tahajjud time for the exact thing that you want. And every time you have thoughts, Allah doesn't want this for me, maybe I just have to surrender to my faith, in that specific moment when you are feeling that, wherever you are, whether you're driving or you're taking a walk or you're doing chores, you are going to remind yourself that nothing is impossible with Allah, and you're going to call out to Allah and say, Ya Allah, I am already feeling despondent that this is not going to happen, but Ya Allah, here I am, Ya Allah, at your door. I am asking you, I am begging you, I am pleading for you. Ask Allah as though you have no other option, because let me tell you, you have no other option. If it's not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that's going to answer this, who is going to answer it for you? Think of a child who is completely dependent on their parents. He keeps tugging on his mother's leg and going, please, please, please give this to me. And he is relentless. He will not stop, no matter how many times you say no. This is the kind of energy you need to bring to your dua, especially those duas that feel impossible. The reality is that each and every single one of us, me and you, is more dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than that child is on his mother. And when you start approaching your dua like this, it doesn't matter how long it takes. Yes, we're insan and we get impatient. You've got to bring this energy that there is no other option. Allah is the only option. Now, my final tip is one that I don't see anyone talking about, and yet it's such a big part of making your du'as manifest. And that is asking Allah to remove the blocks within you so that you are capable of receiving the blessing that you are asking for. For instance, you've got a big problem in your marriage and you're asking Allah, Ya Allah, open a way, heal my marriage, give me a marriage full of love and intimacy and connection, a healthy, functional marriage. Then ask Allah, Ya Allah, whatever needs to heal within me so that I can receive this, whatever needs to heal within my husband or my wife so that they can become that partner that I need. Ya Allah, turn both of our hearts towards each other. Change both of us, grant both of us the resources and the skills, and grant us the ability to take action towards getting those resources and skills so we can become the kind of partners, the kind of people who create the marriage that I am asking for. When you add this element to your dua, you are making it so much deeper because you're showing up to Allah and asking Him, and at the same time, you're telling Him that you're willing to show up for your part in it. Because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends you a challenge, yes, He is number one testing you to see if you will use that challenge to turn towards Him or turn away from Him. And we know one way we know that you're turning away from Him is by saying things like, Allah doesn't listen to my du'as, Allah doesn't answer my du'as. You want to stop doing that immediately because that is you turning away from Him during that test. But when you consistently show up and keep making that du'a, Allah sees your commitment to Him. Allah sees your faith and your tawwakul. Even in those moments where you're wavering in your faith and you don't know if your du'a is going to be answered, your faith is being built. Your trust is being built. And when that dua comes through, when it becomes manifest, it's going to be that much sweeter. But there's another test in all of this, which is that when Allah gives you a difficulty, He's also testing you in that He's building you and molding you. Out of His love for you, Allah wants to see you progress. He wants to see you evolve in life. Allah wants good for you. And because of that, He wants to send you experiences that will push you towards evolution, push you towards growth. You may attend classes, enroll in a program, go for therapy, reflect on yourself, reflect on your behaviors and your beliefs and make changes accordingly. And through that, you evolve into this next level version of yourself. You evolve in your identity. You change and grow as a person. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants that good for you. He doesn't want you to stay complacent. He doesn't want you to stay stuck in the same place your entire life. And that is part of His love and mercy for you. And so all of this works together in the dua realm so that your dua can become manifest. Alhamdulillah, I am living in the dua that I asked Allah for so long. And I wish I could share it with you, but it is so personal and it would reveal other people's confidentiality. So I can't, I have the amanat of the trust of other people. But let me tell you, there were times where I was in such despair, absolutely broken, sobbing on my prayer mat, on my musalla, and really doubting if I should just give up and I should just accept this is my lot in life. And I just kept making the dua, and I even in those moments spoke to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and told Him how desperate I was feeling. I shared my heart with Him. Be vulnerable with Allah. Show your weakness to Allah because we are weak in comparison to Allah. We need His help and we need His mercy. With Allah is where you want to be your most vulnerable, honest, authentic, open self. I kept making that dua and I kept asking Allah to give me the skills to heal me, to open up in me and release the blocks that need to be released so that I can receive this dua. And I took a lot of action. I'm going to tell you honestly, I took loads of action. I made so many changes, even though I've already made so many changes in my life. And a part of me was like, still more? But I stayed open to the process and really surrendered to it. I had to have some very difficult conversations. I had to take uncomfortable steps. And alhamdulillah, the combination of that and the dua, and through Allah's help and mercy, things changed and the dua became manifest. And today I saw it manifest in real time, and my heart is so full of gratitude, which brings me to the final point. When you approach your dua like this, when your dua does become manifest, your tawwakul will increase exponentially, because the next time you have an issue in your life, because that's what life is tests and issues, you're going to remember this time when things seemed hopeless and you kept going. You're going to remember and say, Ya Allah, if you could shift that for me the last time, you can shift it for me this time. And so each time, through each experience, through each challenge, each consistent dua, and when you keep turning to Allah, your tawakkul is built, your trust in Him becomes solid. And so the bigger realm of dua is, yes, we love our duas being manifest and answered, but the biggest gift of it is that your tawakkul, your faith in Allah, becomes unshakable. May Allah grant you and I the ability to have unshakable trust in Him, and may He accept from us and give us the best of what we ask for.